Well, if you weren't aware, today is Anzac Day. A day when we remember those who have sacrificed for their country. For some, it has been the ultimate sacrifice of their lives for the betterment of others. And we're recipients of that. I've never experienced war. Many here today would be the same. I hope I don't have to. I hope we don't have to. I've never had a family member talk to me about their experiences of war. Maybe you have. But I do have an appreciation of what I have today because of others. We all do, don't we? Part of Anzac Day does cause us to reflect on war and what it does. I don't know if you've ever heard a song by Edwin Starr in 1970. It was a song about war. Whenever I hear discussion about war, I think about this song. The main phrase of the song is, let me say that again. The main phrase is, war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. But I'm not too sure about that. But I get the point. St. Augustine, who lived many years before any world war, made a very profound statement. The goal of participating in any war is peace. The goal of participating in any war is peace. Now, St. Augustine was referring to true peace, not surface level peace where everything looks okay but underneath it's not. And living and working towards true peace is something that every Christian is called to work towards. In Hebrews 12, 14 and 15 it says, "Make every effort to live in peace with one another, with everyone, and to be holy. Without holiness no one will see the Lord. See to it that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble and defile many." I often approach Jesus as the Prince of Peace when I need peace, when I'm struggling, or if I'm praying for somebody. I often approach him as the Prince of Peace, because that's who he is. And yet at times in the Bible, he would declare, "I've come with a sword," and not peace. Well, not first anyway. Confrontation. In other words, you can't slap peace over every problem. Deal with the problem and then there will be peace. And Jesus was so good at walking that fine line. He always knew the right approach. Don't you marvel at how he walked his life? Just incredible. Peace is a goal that is important for us as Christians because it is one of God's aims for his relationship with us. Now, the big theme of Anzac Day is lest we forget. Everywhere you go in town, there's signs. We've got flags up on posts. It's a perpetual reminder to remember. And remembrance is not something new. In the Bible, there are many examples for us. One of the examples is in the book of Joshua, when the Israelites crossed the Jordan on dry land. They were told to set up 12 stones. I'd imagine they were quite big, for the generations to be reminded of what God had done, that He had rescued them, that He had given them safe passage across the Jordan. And it was there for the generations to be reminded. In the New Testament, we have the obvious one, which is communion. A constant reminder of what God had done. We have three areas we can look at a little closer this morning regarding remembering. The first one is remembering what others have done. We've touched on that. And it's largely what Anzac Day is about. What others have done and what they've sacrificed. Obvious one is war. People have given their lives for a good cause. You want to hope that you're on the right side and your motivations are right, that you're doing it for the betterment of mankind and for righteousness before God. What about our families? Our families that we've grown up in. Okay, we can all be a little bit dysfunctional, but ultimately our families sacrifice for us. Our parents have worked so that we can have food and shelter and love and comfort. We don't stand here alone. One of the great things when I went to Marae a few years ago was the exposure to my white individualistic culture compared to the Maori culture. One of the extreme things was when a Maori person would receive an accolade, they would find it hard to accept on their own because it was the whole iwi, the whole forefathers that they were receiving something on behalf of. It wasn't just their own merits. I think it's a wonderful thing to remember. What about others around us, even today, who have prayed for us, who have given their time for us, who have given their money for us, who have helped, who have sacrificed? I certainly appreciate being part of this family. The second is remembering, of course, what God has done. The top of the list, obviously, is that He's given His Son. He sacrificed His Son for us. He gave us everything. He gave us all. Paid for our freedom. Cancelled the sin. All we need. He's given us His written word. He freely speaks to us when we seek Him, and sometimes when we don't. He gives us past victories to remember so that we can have faith for the ones we're currently in, the struggles. He gives us forgiveness, a powerful thing, not a one-off thing, but a continual, perpetual reminder that we have forgiveness. If you're married or going to get married, you'll need that, because we just need it in life anyway, don't we? Forgiveness. What could you bring to mind some of the things that God has done for us? I've only pulled out a couple. He's given us a wonderful planet to live on. Given people the knowledge of inventions, medical areas, and the Wright brothers. Wildlife, birds to enjoy. What else has he given us? Feel and experience and enjoy. All the emotions. What a privilege. He's given us free will. Wow. You think about that, that is incredibly scary on one part, isn't it? And incredibly generous on the other. He's given us hope. Love. Unconditional love. Wow. Remembering what God has done. He's given us one another as well. The third is remembering who we are. Remembering who we are. If you have accepted Christ into your life, you are a child of God. You've been paid for. The price has been paid for you, for me. We're made in the image of God, every one of us. There is no one here that looks like there is no replica here. Multifaceted is our God. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. We are deeply loved. We are family. We are adopted into the family of God. We are the church, not the Presbyterian church, but the church of God. We are ambassadors for Christ. In April, early April, was it Easter Saturday? It was a beautiful day, and my family, we decided we'd go to the Dawson Falls car park there, and we would go for a walk, a tramp. Boy, I needed the fitness. And my kids were always saying, "Are you all right, Dad? Are you okay, Dad?" "Yeah, I'll be fine. Just give me a moment." But we drove there, and the car park was full. It was 11:30 in the morning. And I drove into the car park, and there was no spaces there. So I just pulled the car and just thought I'll just wait. And a lovely young lady came over and said, "Hey, there's two people moving out. There's one over there and there's one there." And I thought, "Oh, we'll park there when they come out." And along came another car, and I was thinking, "You better not do that." And they didn't. But what they decided to do is they thought they would drive around me. And there was no way that they could get around me. And I was looking as this car was coming around, and I got eyes on the driver and the passenger, and I was looking at, when you got a little kid, and you say, "If you do that again," and they just look at you and they reach out, and you're going, "What?" It was like that, and I was eyeing up this driver, and I was making sure they were reading my language. But no, they carried on. And crunch. into the back of the car. Oh. So I got out, had a look at the car. It wasn't as bad as what I thought, but nonetheless, this wasn't an accident in my eyes. This was stupidity. Stupid. So I couldn't talk to this lady. I just shook my head. And she was saying, "Have you got a pen?" And I was just like, I just couldn't think. I was just shaking my head. I got back into the car, and fortunately Kathy got out and she wrote down the details and dealt with this lady because I was still shaking my head. This is great. I'm a great ambassador. So eventually we sorted that out. I moved into my park, and I sat there and everybody got out, and I just stopped for a moment and paused and thought, oh God, I forgive these people. Forgive me too. And then through the tramp I was able to process all that. Ambassadors, that's who we are. We're also called to a great commission. 2 days later the lady rang me and I was in a way better frame of mind, and I was able to talk to her about what was going on in her life, and she shared some things to me. That was a test that I've sorted my attitude out. We're also soldiers. We're also soldiers enlisted in a war. John spoke about it last week and he's going to speak about it next week. That our battle is not against flesh and blood, but we're enlisted in a war, whether we like it or not. When we forget, we can lose sight of many things. And today I hope that you've been reminded of others, again of who God is, again of who we are. When it comes to history, we can lose sight of mistakes and repeat them. Alternatively, we can also forget history's good lessons and examples for us to follow. Lest we forget. Lest we forget. Lest we forget. Maybe.